I was reading an article, and they were saying that the fastest dying demographic was the uneducated white male over 60, and the majority of them are Republican, and the times had gotten so liberal that they were dying off fast from all kinds of tension diseases. And I just was imagining what conflicts that they might be having, and then I imagined one that I wanted to put in there for them to have, and so I wrote these lyrics, and then I wrote that song, and then it kicks into the whole angry colored people outrage. Oh, it's not just black people that were outraged, because we don't make progress unless white people get outraged. And Black Wall Street massacre occurred in, I think, the late 20s, 30s. And the United States had a mandate to segregate itself, even legally, from all black people. And though black people couldn't do commerce, you couldn't put your money in their bank, you couldn't buy from white people, and so black people just started organizing themselves into their own community. And they had this side of Tulsa, and they started thriving. And then they created a stock market for themselves, and they had assets of upward of $8 million or something like that at the time. And I think there was 20,000 people that lived there. And it was they called it Black Wall Street. And one day, a white lady gets mad at a black guy and then says he did something he didn't do. And the whole city came down to lynch this guy. Now, they didn't want to give him, a trial or nothing. They just wanted to lynch him, But Black Wall Street, obviously there was people there that had some experience, or they couldn't build that, right? So some of them were World War I veterans, and they were in those units that never got credit, but they were out there terrorizing the Germans. They were hell units. Those guys lived in Oklahoma. So they set themselves up between the angry white mob and the jail, and they put that boy in jail so that he could get at least a fair trial. And white guy walks up and pulls the gun away from him. "Give me that gun, nigger!" And he pulls it, and he gets shot in the stomach, and he dies right there. So the whole city feels like they have the mandate to destroy all these people, and they did. They went in, grandmothers, children, didn't matter. They brought the National Guard to drop bombs on them. These soldiers, these black soldiers, held this white community off for days and days. They were winning until they brought in the airplanes. They couldn't fight the airplane because they were up on roofs. They were making kill boxes. They were keeping that whole city off of them. They were valiant soldiers. You'll never hear that. You only hear about white people that did stuff. And if you're a black person, you think that black people only just recently started doing stuff. And you know what? I discovered that one did something way in the past too. I guess it wasn't that significant. And all that works on our mind. Well, Tulsa is about that. And it's double barrel, and there's some profanity in it, some angry profanity, the kind that will shock you. So I wish I could warn people, but it comes up and people are clutching the pearls, man. And the criticism of that song is that it's too long, and then my answer to them is that, yeah, it is too long. Imagine having to live that. It needs to feel like it should stop now. And then you get a little bit of what they're thinking,